Welcome guys to day 7.
Good evening, sir. Yes, we are here.
Hope you guys are ready for today's lecture.
We are ready, sir. We are ready.
Okay, then that's great. So, today we're going to be looking at another Python data structure called a dictionary. Right. So, yesterday we looked at lists that uses square brackets, right? So today we're going to look at a different Python data structure that uses curly braces, right? So these are curly braces, right? So just like a list, to create a Python dictionary, right? You first create your variable. We're going to call it let's say my dictionary. Right? The same way as you create any normal variable in any normal list, right? After this, then you use curly braces. These curly braces, right? So this is how you create a dictionary, right? So a dictionary is a key value pair, right? What we mean by that a dictionary is a key value pair is that, for example, we have, let's say, name, right? Brandon, right? Age, let's say 45, right? So this is a dictionary. So we say it's a key value pair, right? Unlike a list whereby you have 1, let's say 2, 3, right? With a dictionary, you have a key and and a value. So a key and a value are separated by this colon, right? So we have a key and a value. So everything on the left of a dictionary is a key, and what's on the right is a value, right? So I hope we all understand what a dictionary is, right? And how we create a dictionary, right?
Sure.
So remember that this is a key and a value. So a dictionary stores information using a key and a value. So a dictionary is a key value pair, right? You can think of it like as a root dictionary. You look up the word and the meaning is the value, right? So here we created a dictionary called my dictionary, right? It has name, Brandon, age 45, and we have course, and our course, let's say it's Python, right? So let's say print a print function, say my dictionary, open square bracket, name, right? If you want to retrieve information from a dictionary, if you want to get the value, right? This value, right? We use the key to retrieve a value. We use a key, right? So okay, I saved the code and I'm now going to run the code. Look at the terminal, right? Printing it. See, it printed Brandon. Here I printed my dictionary, the name of the dictionary, open square bracket, and the key inside inside strings, right? Remember and always know that a Python a dictionary key is always a string no matter what. A key is always a string, but a value can be any data type. It can be an integer, a float, a string, a list, any data type, right? Or even a dictionary, right? So always remember that a Python key is what is a string, and to get the value of what of a and to get the value of a key, we use what the key, right? Okay. So we all understand how to retrieve information from a dictionary, right? Right. So okay, let me comment this out. Let me clear my terminal. Right. Just like in a list whereby we use the .append method to add something to the end of a list, right? With Python, with a dictionary, we can also add something to a dictionary, right? For example, if you call the name of a dictionary, right? Open square bracket, and then the key. Let's say, okay, let's say venue, right? Online, right? Let me print okay, let me just print the dictionary, right? I want you guys to look at my terminal, right? Now running the code, right? In the terminal, it printed name, Brandon, age 45, course Python. These three are already there in the dictionary. We created them with the dictionary, right? But we now have what we call a venue and online, right? These two, this key and a value, they're not here in our dictionary. So we added them using here in line 12, right? So we called my dictionary, open square bracket, and then we wrote the key, right? Closed our square bracket, equal sign, and the value, right? So when Python sees this, it first checks whether this key exists in the dictionary, right? If it does exist, then it's going to overwrite its current value to this new value, right? But if this key doesn't exist in the dictionary, it's going to create a new item in the dictionary with this key and this new value. That's why we now have what a new item in our dictionary, right? Right. So remember that this, okay, let me see, this changes an existing value. This changes an existing value in this changes an existing value or creates, right, a new item, right? This is what it does, right? So you can also remove information in a dictionary, right? Let's say if we say using the del keyword, let's say my dictionary, open square bracket, right, and then the key, right? So what this does, right, it removes the key and the value from the dictionary, right? This removes the key and the value from the dictionary. So we delete an item from the dictionary. So we use the key to delete an item from the dictionary. Okay. So dictionaries are not fixed. We can add information change information and remove information. You can do anything you want with that, with the dictionary, right? So let's look at what useful dictionary methods, right? So these methods are inbuilt Python dictionary methods, right? We're still going to use this my dictionary, right? Let's print my dictionary dot keys, right? I want you guys to look at what at the terminal now running the code. It printed what the dictionary keys in a list format. We have what name, age, course. Remember that this new item that you created venue, we deleted it on line 14, right? So using the dictionary name followed by dot keys, right? This gives us what? This gives us the keys, right? And we say print dot values, right? So this gives us the values. So dot keys gives us the values, gives us the keys, and dot values gives us what? The values, right? Then we have dot items, right? So this gives us both the key and the value, right? So with dot items, right, you are going to use this most of the times when you want to loop through a dictionary, right? When you want to loop through a dictionary, this is where dot items is going to come in handy, right? Okay, it comes in handy when looping through a dictionary, right? This is what dot items does, right? So okay, let me just comment this out. Right. Do you all still remember how to loop over, how to use a for loop?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then that's great. So for example, let's say I want us to loop over this my dictionary, right, using what? Dot items. So we can say for key value in expense dot items, not dot expense, my dictionary dot items, and print f key value, right? So remember that dot keys, if we use dot keys here, we're only going to get what? The keys. If we use what? Dot values, then we're only going to get what? The values, right? Then dot items, right? If we use dot items, right? My dictionary.items, that means that we're getting both what the key and the values, right? So here when we're now looking for key value in my dictionary.items, so which means the left part now gets assigned to what, to the keys, and the right part gets assigned what, to the values, right? Then you can now take the key and the value and do whatever you want to do within that loop, right? So the key here, when you're looping, right, with these temporary variables, right, you can use any words that you want. You can use any variable names that you want. It's not a must to name them key value, right? So we just name them key value so that we can know, okay, so this is a key, this is a value, to not confuse ourselves, right? We can change it and say, for example, this also still works. It all depends, up to you, right? So for example, here we have what, for key value in my dictionary, right? So if I run the code, look, see it printed what, the key and the value. So it printed all the keys and the value from within what, our dictionary, right? So you can use what dot items when you're looping through a dictionary to get the keys and the value at the same time. If you want to get the keys, you can use what dot keys. If you want to get only the values, you can use what dot values. But if you use dot keys or dot values, that means that you need to remove one temporary variable. Okay. Right. So, okay, let me clear this. Now, the advantage with the dictionary, right, is that you can take any data type, right? Let's create another dictionary called my dict, okay, equals to, right, let's say dict 1, right, name Brandon, age 22, right? You know what, list 1, right? Let's say Python web development, web dev, right? Let's say venue online, right? So now you see that with the dictionary you can store as many data structures, data types as you want. You can have what, a dictionary within a dictionary. Inside the dictionary you can have what, you can also have a list inside the dictionary. You can have anything inside what, a dictionary, right? So it doesn't limit you only to one thing at a time, right? So let me say, right, if we say print, right, my dict Jackson, right, Okay, so here in this my dict, right, we have what a dictionary. This is a dictionary, right? We also have another dictionary inside a dictionary, right? We also have this list inside the dictionary, and we have or just have this key value pair also inside what the same dictionary, right? So what one does I want to show you something, right? Okay, say my dict, the name of the dictionary, right? And then if you say dict 1 using the key, that means we're now what accessing the first dictionary, right? I want you guys to look at my terminal, right? See, instead of printing the entire dictionary, you only printed what this first dictionary using the key. So you printed what these values, right? We can all see that, right? Instead of printing everything inside our main dictionary, we only printed what the inner dictionary, right? Let me clear this. Let me copy this, comment it out, create another print function, right? Let's say 1, right? Save it. Now running the code. No, well, let's see, there should be 0. Is it 0? Wait. Oh, okay. Just to do with my dictionary format. But what I wanted to show you guys is that within a dictionary, right, we can access what the first dictionary, and then inside that first dictionary we can still access what the items one by one, right? We can show you, which means that we can loop over what the dictionary, right? So any questions about how to use a dictionary, how to loop over a dictionary, dot keys, dot values, and dot items? Any questions?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so we all understand how a dictionary works.
Sir, sorry, I wanted to raise my hand.
Yes, you can go ahead.
There's a last statement you were talking about looping. I don't know if you can just repeat the last concept you were explaining
Oh,
of looping.
looping over a dictionary. Yes, I was talking about that, looping over a dictionary using what the dot keys, dot values, and dot items. So I was saying that you can loop over a dictionary, and you can modify a dictionary as much as you want.
Okay, that's okay, sir. I can always replay it on YouTube, I think.
Yes, that's correct. It's going to be uploaded on YouTube.
Yeah, so I actually try to desist. I think it's better if I can ask in the inbox when I'm stuck, but for the lesson to go on, I think it's best. It's progressive that way.
No. You can ask any questions. For today, I only prepared dictionaries. I want to take it one step at a time. So
Or is
since you
that so?
guys said that you understand everything about the dictionaries, so this was the
Okay.
end of our lesson.
Okay, so yeah. No, okay, so we are free to ask. Okay,
Yes,
I'll just be thinking of the minutes, on YouTube. We see to get longer because of people talking.
talking always. So I know.
It's okay.
Feel free. You can
Okay,
ask.
okay, no, okay, thank you.